All right, sorry about that. So I had an error there, an NVIDIA error for some really dumb reason, and it killed my first stream. So if you were hanging out for the first stream, sorry, but we're back now on the second one. That was incredibly frustrating, actually. Yeah, sorry again if you're not sure what happened in the first stream. Whenever it is that you actually make it into the second one, see what's going on. Yeah, sorry in advance that it cut off like that. That was extremely frustrating. But here we are, continuing on. You actually didn't miss anything. Only like probably 40 seconds of switching. So not bad at all. Sad thing is, I think I had almost 10 viewers when it dropped on me. Hopefully they'll find their way back. That's frustrating. Oh well, we live and we learn. Exactly why I was saying I need to get my computer upgraded this year. It is all right. Let's see. Get everything lined up here because it's not. All right, cool beans. We're all lined up. Yeah, sorry, Southern. I don't know why it dropped on me like that. That was really frustrating. It gave me an error, but yeah, I was saying it. I'm glad I've got someone in my corner that can help with that decoder stuff because my hands are just too shaky. I can barely do it on an HL scale locomotive. It's good to have people that can help you take care of the things that you're either not able, not willing, or for whatever reason, not interested in doing yourself. Got a few people back, that's good. Thanks for making it back over to part 2. Let's get in the cab here. That's how I actually like to drive. Yeah, it does take a lot to run Trainz. DT Cheney, you're definitely right about that. And it's not the best optimized. My computer's got some age. Plus, I have the settings up a little bit higher than what I usually run at, just because I don't want it to look, you know, horrific. But yeah, and obviously too, there's just so much detail right here in Coxton. It's just crazy. Everything's turfexed and cluttered and lots of finer details everywhere. My draw distance is pretty large, so some of it's my own fault. It's all good. I haven't actually set the speed limit on this branch yet, but it's 15. I need to make a note to get that done before the release. Up this 1% grade with the curve is going to really eat into our speed. So let me get some power going. Oh, finished my cadence a little early there. Oops. Listen carefully. You can hear the brake squeal. I did notice, if any of you guys like making audio files, I did notice there is not an asset on the download station that does flange squeal. You know, flange squeal is a very different sound than brake squeal. If anybody out there was up for making one of those, I would use that literally on every curve, everywhere. This is a cool scene right here where you get to see the substation with the industries served by the Santa Fe back there. Got a fertilizer mill, lumber yard, grain facility. Let's see, what else is there? Yeah, see, we're in notch 5 and we're still down to 10 miles an hour. Oh, what else is over here? Let's see. Oh, there's a gasification plant that makes coal gas to run, you know, for the lamps and stuff. There's a icing house. Yes, I know those reefers don't need to be iced. Yes, I know. It's an icing house, but also just a cold storage in general. And here's the yard for the Santa Fe. It's called Hemp Hill Yard. No Santa Fe trains originate here except for the local that serves Coxton. So it's not like a major destination yard for Santa Fe trains. No Santa Fe train comes there except the local. That's why it's only got 4 short tracks. Yeah, wow, look at that lag. Sheesh. Sorry, guys. Hopefully it won't drop again. That was very sad. Although if it keeps that up, it might. Let me go back in the cab and see if that helps. I think that helps a little bit. See on the right there, we're passing all the stock cars. This early 70s were the last days you would ever see stock cars. They were just no longer profitable and a huge hassle. But we're still running them here, man. Speed here needs to stay 10 or lower, so bring it down a bit. Is that the ammeter right there? Yeah, it is. Oh, hello, Big Shadow. Alright, looks like most everybody made it back. Sorry about the stream dropping there, that was really annoying. I got an NVIDIA error, which I've never had before. I think it's just probably got a little hot. Once we make it out of the yard here, it's going to be smooth sailing. I did program several meets for us along the way, mostly unit trains, but I'll have to go sort of babysit those here in a minute. All right, Southern, we'll catch you, man. Get some rest. We'll see you later, buddy. Oops. Why wasn't that showing anything? That was weird. Oh, duh, because that's for this. Ha! Silly me. I forgot I'm on the RD track. That signal's not for us. I was like, what's going on? This one is, though. Clear. Nice. Yeah, see, I got a little work I got to do right here, too. I think I want to make, like, some sort of green space park kind of thing. Oh, thanks, Craig. I will look at that, and if it's packaged in a package that is more or less built in and included and not like inaccessible, then I definitely will certainly use it if it sounds nice. I appreciate the recommendation on that, man. On this route so far, I have eliminated everything that was payware and eliminated everything that was packaged unless it was in one of the built-in packages. Oh, bummer, it's in Trainz 22. Ah, dang it. Okay, yeah, I'm still on 19. So I decided I'm going to do a 19 release, but then one of the first things I do after that is I'll work on getting a 22 version set up as well. I'm going to have to make a few small changes to get it to work for 22, so we'll get it there eventually. Plus, I need to actually go ahead and buy 22. I heard from Approach Medium that Platinum was on sale, but I want to buy Plus because I want to get all the fancy, cool multiplayer features. I've heard from a few people that the multiplayer surveyor is actually really enjoyable. Let's see, we are getting pretty close to being out of the yard limit. Technically, the yard limit is this control point switch right here at the start of the viaduct. So, speed limit of 30, not bad. I've noticed in this game it sometimes, if you're taking it nice and prototypically slow, it gets tired of waiting for you and bumps the speed limit up anyways. We are going to quickly get up to speed as soon as we clear the yard limits. The horsepower requirement to get up the ruling grade is like 1.2. So your horsepower ton rating is 1.2, meaning you got to have 1.2 times the amount of horsepower as you do tonnage. So if you have 1,000 tons, then you need 1,200 horsepower. So that's not actually really bad. You know, getting trains up to hatch speed, for example, requires an HPT of like 3 sometimes. 3 or 4 even on the trains that they want to actually keep the speed up on the Z trains and stuff. So having a HPT of 1.2 is not bad. But we've got like a 0.85% grade for like 9 miles. So it does, and it's very curvy. So the effective grade is over 1% for most of it. And that does stress ranges out quite a bit, actually. It's one thing that's simulated relatively well in this game, which I like. Did say it would take roughly 15 minutes, and I said that about 15 minutes ago. Oh, it looked like it was going to crash on me again. Glad it didn't. All right, we are on our way now. Johnsville or bust. It's like a fictional representation of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. So that's where we're headed. And then, since this is the Cotton Belt and this train is bound for St. Louis, we would actually, technically, instead of going to Pine Bluff, that would require us to take a left. We actually would take a right to head east on the main up to St. Louis. Whew. Finally got out of the shadows a bit, into the sunlight. Yeah. Need to finish dressing that area up a bit. If you travel at track speed, it takes about an hour and 25 minutes to get across the route. But that's at track speed. The track speed sometimes is for, passenger trains, a little bit faster. So usually running at about 40 miles an hour. If you don't have any weights or meets, it usually takes just under 2 hours. But usually you have weights and meets. Let's see. I think I wrote up a symbol for this train. So Southern Pacific and the Cotton Belt were using the top system. They had just introduced it by like 1971. Yeah, there it is. So this is alternate code 0, meaning it's a full train. 1 meaning it's one section. Origination Coxton. Destination St. Louis, and it's a loaded unit train of oil. Technically there's 2 more numbers there for a date, but I don't do the date on mine, so it's all good. It's one of my favorite scenes right here. Definitely is in consideration for a possible thumbnail for the route. When you're in the morning sun, the light is shining from behind the camera, and so this is actually a great shot because in the the light side of locomotives and cars is this side of them. So you can get a look at it all from here too. Kind of get a scope of what we're looking at. So just a nice scene all around. Love it. Very different than the Arkansas River you see in the Royal Gorge next to the DNRDW. This is an area I got to do a little more rework on, get some different buildings here for this industry. It's really just a team track, but need some that look a little more American. This is definitely a fun job to run over here, the High Bridge local. Very, very busy job. Lots of switching. Got the big brickworks, basically. That's about it. A couple team tracks, but in the coal mine, technically, doesn't produce enough coal for a unit train, so it just does carload. Gotta work on this little road to the station, though. Needs some attention. We'll get there. Alright, I'm going to turn that guy down a bit and let him coast. Go get some of our opposing trains ready. Make sure he's good to go. Want him to stay on the main. Yeah. What can we get through Luton at least? Yeah, that's good. What about this control point? Let's see. Yeah, we're good through that one. Okay, that gives me some time. All right, let's see. Need to go to Castlegate. Got a train waiting in Castlegate that needs to move. Let's see. Actually, there might be. There is two, but the other one's on the siding. Yeah, there he is. All right, yeah, here we got a heavy steel train. What's the weight on that guy? Yeah, 4,800 tons, not bad. Okay, you, my friend, I need a driver for you. Let's see. Let's do a navigate to, let's first send you to South Billary. Control point South Billary. Let's put you on the siding. Oh, there it is. You're heading south, so we're going to do South Billary. That's control point, and you're going to be at the south end of the siding where I want you to stop. Boom. Line it up, man. Alright, there's another one in Moscow. So this is the one I actually thought everybody would want to see, and it's fine that it didn't win. It got third place, and that's alright with me. Let's see here. And that was the Moscow local here in Moscow. So Moscow is technically behind me. We're looking at Johnsville. There's a steel mill in the background. Let's get it to load up here. There it goes. I need to run this priority Santa Fe through train. What's his symbol? They used numbers in 1970. 385. So that was the region, the Chicago region. This was the Texas region. And then this would have been a number for the type of train. 8 and 9 represented trailer container trains. So that's us. Thanks, Santa Fe Historical Society, for posting that information where I can find it. All right, you, my friend. We're going to have to do a little more with you, actually. What's your priority? 2. No, actually, no, you'll be okay. Priority will take care of it. You, for now, I just want you to go to Billary. So control point, but we're going to put you at North Billary, south side on the main. And if I can, I'll actually get him to pass the steel train in front of him and then pass us. But it'll depend on where we are. I don't want to spend time sitting around waiting. So control point North Billary, south side of that control point, because he's heading south, and then on the main. Okay. All right, let's get back to our train. Long way, all the way across the route here. To be fair, you can see this is what I've been working on, is getting this kind of detail. So, you know, this was farmland before. Not horrible, but doesn't look great. This checkered kind of filler stuff. It's done its job great of just, you know, filling in the dead space. But this fits the prototype. Larger fields, far fewer farmsteads, you know. So Just trying to get everything covered. How are we doing at notch 2? Perfect, 32. That is amazing. But you can track at 40, so let's pick up the pace now that we're back. All right. We're pretty much good all the way to Billary. Let's roll. Let's do it. We did miss another bridge. I'm sorry we missed that. I had to get a few things settled. But outside of that, you pretty much just missed a big dike for the river that we had to run along. Pretty cool running on the top of the dike. And then just some farmland. So not too much outside of that. Typically through here, I've got to run at notch 8 if the train is heavy. Milepost 6.4. All right. I do have super elevation. That's one of the quote-unquote upgrades, just to help keep some of the speeds higher. You know, if I didn't have super elevation on some of these curves, the speed would be 15 miles an hour on some of these curves. But having the super elevation built in allows me to keep the speed up around the 25-30 mark. But that is one fun thing about running on this route, is there is a lot of variability in speed, so plenty to stay focused on. It's not just like running on the the East Coast Main Line, the ECML in Britain, you know, 100 miles an hour for 4 hours. Yeah, I apologize. This temporary lag is not going to go away. That is because I'm not actually running off an SSD anymore, so I'm using not using my M2 port to connect because it got fried when my hard drive failed recently. So I'm using my backup location. It just doesn't process quite as fast for demanding stuff. You can kind of see the lean there on the super elevation. It's kind of there. About to go downgrade. Also heading downgrade into a speed restriction, so going to bring that throttle down a bit. I'm gonna have to redo a lot of this grass because it's all Turfex. I was actually devastated to find out that Turfex is going away, you know, because of NVIDIA. And I do have some clutter assets that'll stay there, but I need to, you know, make some grass ones that can replace the Turfex for when that day comes. All right, let's give it a 10-pound set. That's a lot more than a 10-pound set. Yeah, I forgot these JR models. They actually set the brakes a little hard. Yeah, this curve especially, if it was not super elevated to the maximum degree, it would be a 20-mile-an-hour curve. All right, now we're good for the next speed check too. We got a 30 coming up at the next major curve past this signal. That branch up there heads to the coal mine. That's another area that is slated for a little revision. Not in how it's operated, but just how it's laid out. There's just not enough space up there to do what needs to be done. So it's not an arrangement that a railroad would use. It kind of sucks. Oh, I forgot to look at this homestead. You guys might like this homestead. Actually, kind of like how this one came out. Train in the background there, or if you look at it this way, train in the background there. Yeah. If only this was my house. That'd be cool. A lot of irrigation canals in this part of western Arkansas, so that's what this is. Cross over those several times here as we run through the lower Arkansas River Valley. And here we are in the town of Wheaton. Oh yeah, I haven't done a TRC there yet. Oops. My bad. We definitely passed a 30. I don't know why it's still saying 35. That's weird. Put a video up probably 4 or 5 months ago, maybe less than that, where I redid this town. Very grateful I redid this town. It was actually, I'm going to be honest, it was actually the first town I ever built on a route in Trainz ever. And I built it 5 years ago when I started this route in Trainz, a new era. And let's just say the growth in my modeling since then has been a blessing. I don't have TRC on that one either. This is what I'm really sad about. This over here, this is a Turfex of wheat. And I've used that so much on this route, it's gonna go away. Breaks my heart. I'm gonna have to try to create something similar with clutter. Oops, there it goes. I was going to say the sound went away for a moment. Bummer. Guess I can't open that one, can I? Oh well. The grade here is 0. It's straight. We're running a notch 7, and we're not even going track speed. Now you know why railroads had to use a bunch of locomotives in the mid-diesel era. You just needed it. This is like a, what is it? Yeah, 5,600 ton train. So not counting locomotives. Yeah, just needs a good chunk of power. Now, of course, if I was using like SD45 T2s or SD40s, I mean, I'd only need probably 2 of them. But it's all good. One sad thing about when I do release the route is every one of these locomotives I'm currently using, I will not be able to include, actually, sadly. This is a JR locomotive. Jeep 9 is a JR locomotive, payware. Definitely can't release that. That would absolutely be a copyright violation. These two are Trainz forwards. It's the Alco RS11, Alco RSD15. Those are free, which is awesome. But still, can't release those. Would be a violation. So, not in the mood for committing crimes. Not gonna do that. So that bridge we just went over, and this cut of track is actually the very first part of this route that was laid ever, right here. So, a little bit of nostalgia. Reworked this part of the route a couple times, just getting it up to standard. So, another thumbnail I considered is right over here. It's at least currently the thumbnail for the asset itself, like for the route. This is the thumbnail that would show in the game currently. Like right there, something like that. Speed limit through here is definitely 60. There it goes. It's about to be 35, but not till we get to the next control point. Really, I'm going to go back and lower the speed on that whole curve there. That was probably going to make that a 30-mile-an-hour curve, even with the super elevation. It's just a little too tight. I don't want to do that, but I'm going to have to. And you may have noticed earlier there was like a 60 right before that 35. That's because we do run commuter operations on this line, and those commuter trains, they can get up and going really fast. So, you know, we do allow speed variation that a freight train would never be able to even achieve. And, you know, it's done on purpose because passenger trains can. So they do. Recently reworked this co-op. Definitely liked, or I like how it looks now. I never actually finished it in the first place. It's not like I finished it and just redid it. I never finished it. But now it's done. I like it. It's a lot better. Yeah, common problem with JR locomotives. Sound cuts in and out. Ah, look at that, man. And the best part? Moves in the wind. Ah, look at that. Love it. Just get a nice little vantage point over here. I like this vantage point. This is one of my favorites. Should try to get some sort of panoramic thing going on here. So I do actually have super elevation on that bridge. There is a prototype for that, I found out actually because I looked it up. Here's the ballast blinds we all love. That's 430 though, so it's all covered in shadow. Kind of stinks. Notch 6, and we're barely keeping pace. If it grades what? 50%? Yeah, 0.5. Half a foot every 100 feet, and we're barely hanging on. Alright, yeah, so this is one of the towns that I still need to redo basically completely. So, don't worry. This is going to look a lot better than it currently does. This was built 5 years ago in Tain. It was the second town ever built. And, yeah, it needs a better look. It'll get one. It'll get one. Fulton. And now we head up to Summit. It's called CP Summit. It's one of the control points. It is the highest control point on the south end of the railroad. It's where we're transitioning out of the Arkansas River Valley. Eventually, though, we do come back to the Arkansas River Valley, so we actually, once you pass Control Point or CP Summit, it's downhill again until you get back to the Arkansas River. Fancy that. Turn that bell off now. Can't hear it anyways. I do believe I've finished the super elevation all the way to Billary. I don't believe I've done any super elevation past that point. But let's check in on our other guys, see where they're at. Let's see. Please tell me they're moving. That's the steel train. Okay, that's good. It's moving. Where's the pig train? Come on, pig train, where you at? Ah, good. Ah, yes. Made it through Cascade. That's good. Okay, I was afraid he might get hung up there. A little Santa Fe action at track speed for you. I think the track speed through there is 60. I need to get those assets off the download station that allow you to make the AI train blow the horn. Gotta get one of those. Let's go catch that steel train real fast. Do a brief stint of some rail fanning. There we go. Get it to load up. Yeah, this is actually that ruling grade, but he's coming down the grade, so it's piece of cake. If I was running that train, I'd be running the dynamics right now instead of running the throttle. But hey, so these kinds of steel cars were brand new in the 70s. Yeah, completely loaded unit train of steel. Whew. Yeah, see, traveling Summit is a big S, so that's why the speed drops a bit, but it's also still upgrade, so you can't drop your power too much. Start getting into some wheel slip, don't want that. Yeah, I gotta dress up stuff like that. Needs a little attention. Take note. That's why it's nice to actually operate routes as you build them and notice stuff like that. Otherwise, you'll just spend all your time running around looking for stuff. It's not as fun as noticing it when you're driving. It's a lot more fun that way. Yeah, sorry about that periodic lag. It does it even if I'm not streaming, so sadly. In fact, if you go watch my railroader videos, you'll probably see it in those too. 16.5 miles from Coxton. Not bad. I did get asked recently if this route supports double stacks. So the answer technically is no, because we didn't have double stacks. We had containers were kind of a new thing for the most part. I talked a bit about it earlier, but they were only, at this point in time in 1970, they were only shipped basically single stack. But the route does have, the main line does have enough vertical clearance for auto racks. So if you want to run automotive trains, you can fit those on there. Some industrial spurs, some secondary lines. The port branch, for example, in Coxton, the port branch in Billary, those don't have clearances high enough for even high cube cars. So no high cube box cars, for example, going down to the port in Billary. And then things like the med branch. On the med branch, you can't take a car or locomotive longer than 73 feet. So no 6-axle locomotives, for example, on the med branch. And that's done on purpose just to create some operational variability, plus also to simulate the secondary nature of those lines. But I'll have documentation for all that on the documents that I release once the route's available. Remember, can't go above 40 if you're not a priority freight, so got to keep the speed reasonable. Haven't checked any control points past us here. I need to make sure we're actually good to go. Don't want us to catch a switch at track speed, although the signals technically are all programmed, so the signals would tell us ahead of time, which of course is done on purpose to catch me making silly mistakes. This one, we're going to have a meet here actually. Yeah, the AI is going to take that switch from us. He probably went to the yard, didn't he? Dadgummit, sure enough. Yeah, I forgot to tell him to take the bypass. The other train is not going to make it that far, so it won't matter for them. But yeah, I forgot to do that. It's okay. Looks like I lined him up correctly. Let's get him lined up here. Yeah, that's okay. That'll get him back on the main. That'll be good. Yeah, out of the yard, technically. So that's good. And then I think he'll have it from there. So not bad, not bad. There we go. Get our loading back up. We're about to be in Shifnal. Not bad. Speed down before we get in town here. So it looks like we're going to have both meets and Billary. That'll be fun. Another irrigation canal here. This area was reworked in a recent build video. Definitely glad I did that. Still could use some, you know, finer details here and there, but the result is much better than before. Much better. Little team track over there, little warehouse. This town plus Fulton, they're all served by their own local, and that local comes out of Billary, which is where we're headed next. There's only 3 main yards for the cotton belt here. There's Nick's Yard in Coxton. There's Monson Yard in Billary, which we're going to come to here in a little bit, although we don't actually have any work there. And then there is Johnsville, the hump yard in Johnsville. So. Sadly, I definitely don't think I'm going to have enough time to make it all the way to Johnsville. I think we'll make it probably 3/5 of the way there. Yeah, just building the train at the start took a little while, and that's okay. But I'll definitely get us through Billary, get to see all the meets, climb the ruling grade. We'll definitely do all that. That'll be fun. This is a good control point to extend if you guys ever decide you do actually want to extend the control points yourselves to be longer. This one in Shifnal is a great idea, a great one actually to extend out to 6,000 feet. Just saying. If I was going to do it, this would be one of the ones I would do it too. That's why I bring it up. And a big thing I learned is you just gotta have times where you go above stuff and you gotta have times where you go under stuff. Topology is never uniform. Railroads are not always on top of everything. Sometimes they're below things as well. But this area just looks great. I love it. These trackside scenes are all inspired by prototype photos, as well as impressions from the things I've seen in my own life. I am a bit of an impressionist. I like to build what I see or have seen. Just mostly because I connect more with that. So this will be our, what is this? This is our second crossing of the Arkansas River? Yep. I like this bridge though. This is a double-tracked swing bridge, but one of the tracks is out of service. Super cool little detail, and the bridge does actually swing. I even have the pillars over there for where it was. Yeah. So. And then my most recent build video here on the route was all of this area here. So if you watched my most recent build video, this part's probably a bit familiar. See the super elevation there. Love that look. It's a good look. Accidentally moved my chair here on the tile, made a bunch of noise. Oops, apparently I need to lower that curve speed a little bit. My bad. Trainz is like, hey man. Alright, we are actually coming up to our first meet up here. So the signal should reflect that. The next signal, I believe, will show advance approach, I'm pretty sure. I know we're staying on the main, so it's not going to show a diverging signal, but it should show advanced approach. Let me see if that the train is where he's supposed to be. Yeah, he's getting there. Nice. Love it when a system works. Even though I missed the bypass, it's all good. Yep, there it is. Yellow over yellow, advance approach. Alright, so let's bring our speed down past advance approach at 30 miles an hour or less. Slight uphill, so we're going to keep at least some throttle on so we don't lose all our momentum. Curve is going to suck it all out of us though, so let's get some power back going. And here is the Med branch. We're about to cross over it. The Med branch. That's a 3 or 4% grade right through there. But hey, it's branch line. That's fine. It's cool. It's in like 4 Jeep 9s with a 5,000 ton train. Maybe like 10 Jeep 9s. If we had a clear, I would keep the speed up, but I know that we don't have a clear up here, so. Did some reading. The big crops in this part of Arkansas is soybean and rice. Soybean and rice. Yep, there it is. There's our meat. He's waiting on us. That actually means that I can throw... Let's do a quick pause. That means I can actually throw the signal past him and we can keep moving because the next train is in the following control point. Let's see. Yep, straight through there. This gets really cluttered. I might have to zoom in myself and go do this the old-fashioned way. That switch... No. We're going to stay on the main. There we go. That's the wrong switch, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't affect us. There we go. We'll get on the bypass. And let's see. We have to go to the siding. That's right. So we're going to have to take the crossover. Fun times. This crossover is a little tight, but it's all right. We'll take it slow. 15 mile an hour. Yep, see? Jumped up to clear for us. This whole control point is uphill and a nice curve, so the gradient's not too much, but if you got a heavy train like us, you do have to keep some power going, or else you will not make it. In the early 70s, on secondary lines and branch lines, which this is a secondary line, the SP was almost exclusively using old power. This would be the only reasonably new locomotive. Lots of ST7s, ST9s, still using F units. Jeeps, 7s and 9s. Yep, still used all those. I've seen the prototype photos. Only the hot and the important trains got the new flashy locomotives. Nice screenshot right there. And I have some work to do over here still. I gotta work on that a bit. I did a little work here recently, but I need to touch it up. But this needs love, man. It needs love. Notch 7 at 18 miles an hour. Ouch. So I'm going to leave the steel train here, and once we get past the pig train, I'm going to have him actually pass this guy because he's a higher priority. But I probably will worry about that after our session. Because it doesn't affect us. It'll be behind us at that point. And this is Med Junction, so this is where the control point at South Billary ends. And you've got the quarry branch comes in, which is just a 1.5 mile branch to a quarry, fancy that. And then the Med branch comes in right here. So there's your tertiary route to the town of Med. Definitely coming in too hot. Let's fix that. And this is all technically yard limits for Billary, for the Monson yard here. So technically, dispatcher, if he wants to keep us on the main, he can give us signal authority like he's done. But if he had put us on this siding over here, he'd have to coordinate with the yard master to make sure we don't hit any trains getting worked here in the yard. But this is where the way freight that goes to Med and the manifest train that goes to the lumber mill in Med, this is where they depart. And in fact, I think I have both those trains staged and ready to go, because the yard here in Monson actually is mostly full. The yard crew is waiting for these guys to get out of here so they can finish sorting the cuts that came in. I shouldn't have a yellow though. That means there's a switch not lined correctly in front of us. If that one's red, that one shouldn't be red. Yeah, sure enough, that's why. That one also. Yeah, that map is, it's just hard to see. Everything's so cluttered. It's hard to tell what is what. Yeah, there's the power for the way freight and the power for the mill run, both ready to go. There's the commuter trains. Love those, man. These bi-levels are great. For a long time, the video I made on the pasture operations was my most popular video, which was a big surprise because that's just not what I'm into, and that's okay. So I added this little crossover here to get from the siding into the yard, just to give it a little easier access. The only other way to get to the yard was to go all the way around the bypass to the other control point, and I didn't want to foul the control point if I didn't have to. Whew. Ugly lag that time. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is where I have not updated the scenery. So now we're looking at the old scenery. Still PBR textures, but grass blinds, no Turfex, no clutter, no super elevation, no embankments. Still got all that stuff I gotta work on. There's the auxiliary yard for the Billerud Port branch. Some overflow cars there. That entire yard was full with overflow cars recently. I had to run an extra from here just to get cars out of the yard. 15, that's right, 15. No super elevation on this curve. 15 miles an hour is too slow for super elevation. And we can't go any faster because if a train has to take the crossover up here, like us, and they drop less than 20 miles an hour on a super elevated curve, they can streamline the cars, dump the cars on the ground. Don't want that. But you can tell this is nasty sharp. Need a brake squeal right here, a wheel squeal. There's the other meet waiting on us. We have a diverging approach. That's exactly right, because we're not clear out of that control point yet. Yeah, this is great. I love this. Meets are the best. Meets are just the best. Oops, Conrail. That wasn't around yet. That's funny. Yeah, old grass vines. Ugh. I just don't like them anymore. They're great for Trainz a new era, but that was a long time ago. We're in like a few new eras since then. And here is the Billerud Port branch. This is now our third crossing of the Arkansas River, but we are a lot higher now. and that's because we are heading up into the hills, going for the highest part on the subdivision. It's a 450-foot trestle, though. Oh yeah, forgot to throw the switch ahead of us. It's supposed to be stopping right up here, but dispatcher says we're good to go. We're going to assume that we don't know that yet, so until we see that signal, we're going to keep it right here. Oh, there we go. We are officially out of Billary now. All right. Milepost 27. There it goes. This is where that ruling grade here starts, so try to get some momentum. I do believe that I've got enough horsepower, but we'll see. If you ever decided that you wanted to run steam operations on this route, which would be lots of fun, this might be a helper district. You might actually run a helper from Billary up to the control point up here ahead of us. I think it's like 6 or 7 miles, and then the control point is on a curve and at like a 0.85% grade, so it's really tough. You can get all the way to the top, you know, working your locomotive to death, killing your boiler pressure because you're working it so hard, and then get up there and run out of steam because your boiler pressure is already a bit low. You're out of momentum. Your train's heavy. It's brutal. It's brutal. But yeah, you can see there's obviously a lot of scenery work that needs to be done here. There's no bushes on the side. There's no changes in the sugroad bed. You know, with the embankment splines, there's no super elevation. No clutter. That needs to be fixed. So, but it's all good. That's why we do this. And I just haven't got this far yet. So, I'm not ashamed of it. It just is what it is. Got 25 up here because of the curve for the bridge. Bring the speed down for that. Don't want to take the bridge too fast. I would advise you when the day comes that we get to finally celebrate and have the route release and enjoy it. I would advise you to, when you're dispatching trains, you know, and managing which trains go where, I would definitely recommend that the ones going upgrade, you make them a priority. Because getting a train, heavy train started from this control point up here is a real pain in the butt. This right here is another reason it's tough. You know, you have to give up some momentum to get your speed down for that bridge. And then once you get off the bridge, it's a sharp turn at a grade, man. It just doesn't let up. Zoom out high enough, you can, yeah, there it is. You can see your train still on the bridge. Oof, that turn is way too sharp. Oh my goodness. Making notes of broaden that out. Holy cow. Yes, I think we'll go get up to hill and park it at the salt mine. So we'll get past this next control point and keep on moving. That'll be good because that's actually the last control point that's clear. Got a train in front of me that I didn't move earlier that's blocking the main. So we were only going to be able to get this far anyways without me moving it. It's all good though. Still at least probably 10 to 15 minutes before we get to that second control point. So yeah, here's the one that kills all the steam engines. Here we go. This is what we call Heiliger's curve, CP Heiliger's. It's pronounced Heiligers. It's Dutch. Named after a friend. He didn't know. I'm sure he'd probably giggle and be like, what are you talking about? But it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like a cheap version of Helmstedter's curve from Maryland. Let's see, let's get a good vantage point. Yeah. Yeah, it's like Helmstedter's curve. Yeah, so we just barely got enough power. Got enough, but just barely. If this was a priority train, it would have needed at least one more locomotive. So you can see we're losing speed. We've already lost 4 miles an hour. Yeah, it's just tough. It's a challenge. Did it on purpose. Makes it fun. Makes you plan ahead, you know. That's the part of railroading I enjoy, is planning the operations. Too bad there aren't any railroads hiring MBA graduates specializing in operations right now. That'd be cool. I would eat that job up. I looked this week to see if by chance there were any that were available. But I know, to be fair, that a lot of those jobs they promote from their operating crews. which obviously makes sense, and then get them educated if they need to. Dang, 22. See that up there? Flashing yellow. Yeah. Doesn't usually happen. Advance approach. Let's see why. What's going on? Do I have a switch line the wrong way? I am going to put it on the siding actually though. Yeah, this is where we're going to park it. We're going to park it on the siding. Okay, yeah. Signal show now. Great. Okay, well. There's your double yellow for your advance approach up there. Yeah, I must have had a switch line up there into the salt mine interchange or something. It's one of the first areas where I experimented with bigger fields. Glad I did. Realize that that's definitely the way to go. So not really too much work's going to be needed here, just to change out this line to turfix and that'll do it. Same with that weed spline right there. Replace that with turfix as well. Oh, approach medium. Wow. Not advance approach, silly me. Yep, diverging approach or medium approach. Either way, same thing. It's because we're taking the siding and we are not clear past the siding, so we're going to take that at a 20 mile an hour. So this here is actually the interchange for the salt mine. This is worked exclusively by the way freight. I'm going to make a few changes here. I'm going to make it actually where these tracks are where the cars are loaded instead of having a section back here, because for the amount of volume of cars that we're putting through here each day, it's just not enough to have a dedicated switcher. No railroad would ever do that. When you're only loading like 8 to 10 cars a day, nah. They'll look for a different way to do it. Like having the wave rate switch it. So. If the grass was better, I'd say get a nice screenshot, but grass is kind of tacky. Yep, it's coming on through though. Well, this has definitely been fun. I've really enjoyed this, but it is super late. I'm gonna have to get up at probably around 7 in the morning, which is only about 6 hours from now to take care of the baby for a bit. So it's probably a wise idea that I get this train parked here in this control point and sign off for the night. So yeah, if you limit your trains to 3,000 feet, you pretty much always have enough space for a little bit of, you know, braking distance. Like, obviously I didn't park it extremely close there. I didn't park it extremely close here. It's not like there's 3,001 feet, so you better make sure it's shorter. You know, there's some leeway. If you run a 3,300 foot train, you're fine. Just real quick, this is Brockwell. I do have a part 1 and part 2 video from Brockwell from way back, probably more than 6 or 7 months ago now by this point. But there's a co-op back there. There's a paper mill. So of course this is all area that still needs a bit of revision. So I'll get some revision done at some point. You know, get it all fixed up. Here's just some reasonably high speed running for freight trains, 60, 65 if you're a priority train. Then that gets us to Castlegate. This would be fun to do on a live stream in tandem with like either the port job or the Moscow local. Castlegate has its own little yard because we build a unit coal train from here, but it gets broken down here and sent to the mines because it's different mines, and then we build a unit train and ship it out. That's fun. Plus also we've got a major bleach mill here that we switch, plus a sulfuric acid mill. Bring the sulfur cars in, ship out the sulfuric acid to lots of places. And then this is actually where the salt cars go. So the salt cars get delivered here. They are the only cars that get picked up and dropped off at their destination by the same train. So the way freight picks them up from the mine, brings them, you know, 8 miles right here and drops them off. And then here's that other train I was saying was held up. It's held up because it's going to Moscow, but there's no space in Moscow for it. And every one of those cars is bound for Moscow, so it's being held there. Here's our last crossing. It's the 4th one of the Arkansas River. If it'll load. Once you cross river here, you are in the town of Moscow, and then I need to change up all the housing here. I haven't done the update to the neighborhoods, but this is probably what I'll run on the next live stream. It was number 3 in the vote count. I'll probably run it in tandem with the port job in Coxton. But this is where we have our little short line, the Moscow Industrial. Arkansas state flag there. And then serves 9 industries and interchanges with 2 railroads, KCS and Southern Pacific. So here's the KCS yard. Tell it's pretty busy. A lot of stuff to do there. There we go. Get that to load. Yep, and then this is the east side. We've got East Side Industries. There's 5 of them. It crosses over the SP main. See, that's where the clearances are tight. You can just barely fit an auto rack under that, but you cannot fit double stacks. And then right here is how you get back down to the west end. So, but yeah, I was hoping with time we could make it all the way over to here. We've got a automotive train that I was going to set a meetup with. And then here's the hump yard in Johnsville. Definitely, as you can see, haven't finished any of this scenery yet, but definitely will get there soon and before release and everything. So these tracks over here are just for cars going to industries in Johnsville, because there's like 4 or 5 major industries here. And then these are all outbound cars, so either outbound on a local, either southbound to Coxton or northbound to either Pine Bluff or Little Rock or St. Louis or whatever. So, but yep, 27 tracks. Not bad at all. Gets humped at 2 miles an hour. And there are the goats. Well, guys, and gals. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for joining. I had a great time. John Riso, what's up, man? It's good to hear from you. I'm just signing off for the night, but thank you guys for joining, and sorry about the mix-up with the stream collapsing and making the second one, but glad you guys hung out and found the second one, so we keep on going. But I want to go ahead and sign it off and get to bed, and maybe in one of the future videos we can feature this grain operation as well, heading over to the grain terminal that needs a little bit of attention.